From Rosie O'Donnell trying her hardest to slam Trump to Jasmine Crockett making more ridiculous claims. Let's unpack all of these controversial moments with our political panel in studio. Joining me is political commentator and senior contributor to Young Voices, Daniel Idfresne. Did I say your last name correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Also with us, host of This Is America with Rich Valdez and iHeartRadio, Rich Valdez with an S, and activist and founder of the New York City Republican Club, Marco Kepi. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. So, Rosie O'Donnell, she has major Trump derangement syndrome. I don't know if you saw Trump earlier. He hit back at a reporter who asked a stupid question. So I'm going to play the soundbite from Trump first, and then you're going to hear Rosie's response, which she was on with Jim Acosta. And she says it's rape, what Trump did. Yeah, watch this.
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
We, not Democrats versus Republicans, we, people who have decency as one of their values, a decent person would stand up in spite of their job and say, I will not sit here and watch you verbally assault and attack and rape a woman.
Can you imagine how offensive this is to women that have actually been sexually assaulted and raped? Marco, you first. What are your thoughts as like Rosie O'Donnell? These people are so deranged.
Well, first of all, anything that she says should not be taken serious. I mean, she's a complete joke now. And I have actually worked on the asylum missions where we had illegal immigrants that were shipped in by the former administration, and I've seen who those people are. And President Trump is absolutely right. There was a lot of criminals in those hotels that we were managing. They had zero respect for the law. They had zero respect for the military. And they were not the poor immigrants that the media tries to portray out there. They had cars parked right outside the hotels. They were living in five-star hotels that we were paying for, the taxpayers. And they were completely just ripping off our country and taking us for idiots. So I'm glad that the president is finally, undoing what the former administration did.
And speaking of idiots, Jasmine Crockett was at it again, trying to demonize President Trump and defend illegal aliens from being deported. And here's what she said.
Because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists. But we don't want to talk about that.
All right, Daniel, white supremacists, they're committing the majority of crimes, according to Jasmine Crockett.
I think Jasmine Crockett is just using the ordinary Democrat line that's getting old at this point. This idea that we're talking about immigrants and those who've given us so much in this country. That's blatantly false. We're talking about those who've come in, who's taken our benefits, who's caused crime in New York City and other major cities. And the fact that she refuses to acknowledge that shows that it's just an impasse. The fact that she said that and Rosie O'Donnell said what she said, I think they're obviously not meeting the moment because they know that there's no defense for what they're saying.
And Rich, what do you think about Jasmine Crockett deflecting and always with the white supremacy claim?
Well, look, I think first, the left within government, the left within the media, they're kind of hysterical lately, whether it's Rosie O'Donnell or Jasmine Crockett trying to make things up. I can't remember the last time that we saw a massive string of attacks or rapes or anything like that by white supremacists. Haven't seen it, hasn't happened, it's fake, it's phony, it's fraud. But Rosie O'Donnell saying that this was a verbal rape, raping a woman, I mean, she says it with such certitude that you would think that there's some truth to that when the whole thing is a farce. And it's because the left within the free press, they don't like Donald Trump's free speech.
Right. And where is Jim Acosta's responsibility as a so-called journalist to hit back and say, wait a second, I think that's a bridge too far, Rosie, saying it's rape and assault. Now, the White House is hitting back at the fake news. It launched Media Offender of the Week on its website to further battle fake news media. You see Mark Kelly right there. We'll do a round robin here. Marco, you go first. What do you think about the media's responsibility to kind of push back on these wild claims?
So the media is what's causing all this division in our country. Whenever we have a tragedy, they try to point out to the president, but they forget that every day they're pushing towards that division in our country. They're trying to vilify the president every day, and that's not helping. When they let people like Rosie O'Donnell, as our colleague here just said, just continue on with those accusations, it's completely wrong, it's completely false. And, there's people out there that take her words maybe seriously, and then they take that as a mission to go after the president or people like they did in Washington, D.C. at our National Guard.
Right. And that guy, they're saying he was radicalized while he was here, Lachenwall. Daniel, what do you think about the media?
I think this is a great move from the Trump administration. I think that Americans distrust the media, and for good reason. It's the media's responsibility not to have the kind of spin where Rosie O'Donnell's take seems to have some credence when it absolutely does not. And I think Americans need to continue to have that skepticism of the media.
Final 30 seconds to you, Rich Valdez.
For too long, we've had this adherence to pomp and circumstance, to staying within the lines. How dare you? That offends me. And you know what? President Trump, I like to say, he's like the first talk radio president, right? He's the one that says, I'm going to call this what it is. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to make a funny name for you. And we need that. And, Charlamagne the God has a segment called Donkey of the Day. This is the White House's version of Donkey of the Day. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and he called that reporter stupid because it was a stupid question. He calls it like he sees it. But it's a trademark New York. We're all New Yorkers here, and that's how we talk, right? All right, Daniel, Rich, Marco, you'll be back the next hour. Thank you guys so much for joining us. All right, welcome back to Sunday Agenda. I'm Lydia Serrani. Well, whether it's a lighthearted moment or a serious crisis at hand, you can always count on the fake news to serve up some media madness. Here to break it all down with us this week, Republican strategist Whitley Yates. Also with us, managing editor at Newsbusters Curtis Halk. Also back with us, Marco Kepi, Daniel Idfresne, and Rich Valdez. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. So let's start off with Jimmy Kimmel. He's trying to hang on to relevance and what's left of his ratings. This week, he had some pot shots at the administration over a simple photo op with a turkey for Thanksgiving. Watch this.
Hi, Waddle. Oh, my goodness. He's a beautiful bird. Yes. Oh, want to give us a gobble?
See, fascists have fun, too. It's fun.
So Whitley's calling the turkey a fascist. Ladies first. What do you think?
I mean, imagine being so obsessed with Trump that you are turning a turkey pardon into proof of fascism, and you can call it comedy. The fact that he's still on air is surprising to me, but the fact that he's not funny and continues to push these narratives as comedy is something that all of us should be upset about.
Yeah, there's a lot of Trump derangement syndrome going on. The Hill's White House columnist Niall Stanage took to TikTok this week to talk about the National Guard shooting in D.C. and heavily hinted that the National Guard itself was responsible. Take a look at this.
Now, to be clear, nobody should be shot, and the main responsibility lies with whoever is doing the shooting. It is also true that militarized policing is almost always a disaster. It is also true that the National Guard should not be on the streets of Washington, D.C., where there's no need for them to be. And the issue is they're being used as political pawns, and what always happens there, unfortunately, and we'll see what the motives were if they ever shot these people, but the problem is always that it is the foot soldiers who end up paying the price for political stupidity.
Wow. Curtis, how does this guy still have his job?
Well, first of all, number one, Lydia, Niall should go back to Ireland. He can take his Israel-hating self back across the pond and just stay there. Number one, and that's number one. Number two, anytime a liberal says, now to be clear, they're about to make a really, really stupid point. I think that's kind of a dead giveaway there. I mean, this is just such hateful rhetoric. I mean, this goes back, you could extrapolate this to anything. Oh, the Ms. McGee in Chicago, she wouldn't have been set on fire if she just weren't on the train. It's the same thing. A girl wouldn't have been raped at a frat party if she just didn't go to the party to begin with. It's this blaming the victim nonsense that we're dealing with the left here. It's disgusting and it's wrong, and it's turning attention purposefully away from where it should be, which is the vetting process of people like the individual in this case.
Yeah, meantime, you got the seditious six. You got Elisa Slotkin. She made a sweeping generalization about the National Guard randomly shooting Americans. Raditz then said the quiet part out loud and asked if the seditious six could have worded their message better And wait until you hear the answer here.
It makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground.
Couldn't you have done a video saying just what you just said, if you are asked to do something, if you are worried about whether it is legal or not, you can do this? It does imply that the president is having illegal orders, which you have not seen.
I think for us, it was just a statement widely.
I'll throw it to the table, you guys. Who wants to take it?
I'm just going to say this. Before I said that I was embarrassed and ashamed and Mark Kelly should be embarrassed, she definitely beat him on this one. Wow, that's disgusting what she said. The fact that, listen, the National Guard has a job to do what the National Guard does, and whoever they have to shoot, they're going to shoot. And I'm not saying they're going to shoot Americans, but she's saying that, and she's a sitting United States senator. What a shame.
Marco, you heard them the guy before, foot soldiers, the National Guard. Again, you're a member of the U.S. military. I mean, how does it make you feel to hear lawmakers talk like this and reporters talk like this?
Well, it's always people like him that hate our police, hate our military, that are the first ones to call the police when they need help and to complain if the police doesn't show up in an instance. So, we're used to statements like him and people like him. And as far as the military shooting American citizens, it's crazy. I mean, any law enforcement, the last resort that they teach you in training is the use of force. That's always the last resort. So then they're just, again, escalating and trying to beef up this hate for Trump and everything that President Trump is doing. That's actually working. Ever since the National Guard has been in Washington, D.C., the community is cleaner, the community is safer, and everything is working out. And it just bothers them that whatever the president is doing is actually working. So.
Yeah, and then I want to take a look at this clip real quick. CNN showing off the new trend of insulting conservatives. They won't say the word Nazi outright, but now it's just they mention Nuremberg. Listen to this.
No. I understand you disagree with what the Democratic lawmakers said in that video, telling troops to disobey illegal orders. It stems from the Nuremberg's defense. So I understand you have questions about that, right?
Daniel, what do you think about this? I mean, people that actually went through you can't compare anything to the Holocaust. The Holocaust is the Holocaust. What do you think, Daniel?
I just think it's ridiculous that every single time when there's political violence in the country, Democrats say that we need to tone down the rhetoric, and yet they are coming out and they're talking about having, again, military officers and whatnot break chain of command and ignore illegal orders. I mean, that's a huge escalation in the rhetoric, and I just can't believe that they're now comparing this to the Holocaust. It just fans the fuels of tension in the country.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you guys so much for joining us of another round of Media Madness. Thank you guys. Whitley, Yates, Curtis, Marco, Daniel, Rich, thank you guys.